taking the victory lap here with our boy Big T. Massive takedown PGA last night. Shipped the Millie.
The Twins got the job done for our boy Hoop. Won him $100K. Won him a live final seat.
JSU chipped $200K on, I think, just $1,000 worth of entries. He had a monster night.
Anytime we see members crush like this, we're excited.
Last night, one of our most loyal subscribers from the beginning, Jay Love, took down $20K.
I want to give a shout out to Redmen, who won over $50,000 on opening day.
Blind Bandit took down the $100,000 top prize.
We had someone win a live final seat.
It was one of those days where it's like going 5x or 10x on your money. It wasn't enough to get enough love in the Discord.
Record 62 took down the Millie Maker.
I don't even know if this heater's ever going to end.
Some of these other sites are just boring you to death.
I like how other sites nickel and dime you for every penny they can get.
Tons of the members have given tickets and membership on their own. Like, we're not telling them to do that. They're just doing it for good mojo.
You love to see it. We love the good mojo. And
the mojo is what the mojo is.
I give you credit for still having that happen. We appreciate it.
Wait till we ship tonight. I might never take it off.
We are back, baby. I'm so excited. The NFL is tomorrow. I got my boy Keg. I haven't seen him very much in the offseason. Me and Mangone have been having wonderful conversations. I mean, this is a good day in my world. So excited about tomorrow. More excited about Sunday night. And hello. Welcome to RPS. Run Pure Sports. Run Pure Bets. And we still got that promo going on. You know, we had to beat Hoop up. Hoop wanted to kill the 15% off of your lifetime monthly subscription. We said, no, Hoop, you're not allowed to do that. We're here for the consumers. So that is ending by Sunday. But if you haven't already gotten in RPS NFL 15, add the bet side, 15% off 20, whatever the hell that is. That's a pretty good price, like $17 or something like that. Imagine that, Keg. I am so happy to see you. Can you please, since this is a free show, and before we get to what we do, basically what we do, I guess I should tell people, I'm just so geeked up right now. I'll tell you what we do. We talk about 6 games from the bet side, and then we go to Mangone. We talk one at a time. So we do a bets, then we talk about it from a DFS perspective. Things are very good in my world right now, Keg. Everything's coming together. How are you? And where did Mangone go? Did he just bolt?
I'm not sure where.
I got the blue screen. Okay.
All
right.
We're in mid-season form right now, Coach.
Yeah, obviously.
We are rolling, buddy.
That's all you got to say to me,
That's
too.
all I got. I mean, what else is there to say?
I mean, you know, I was so excited, and now you're just giving me nothing.
You're going to be on with me tomorrow night on the live show. We're going to have a ball. We're going to all day Sunday live shows, pregame content, college football, NASCAR this weekend, the UFC. We are here. We are here.
Unfortunately, Mangone is dead, but he'll try and join us from the afterlife. There was a conversation we had before the show started about the games that we're going to cover today. So let me give you these. Chiefs Broncos. We'll talk to Keg about the bet side, then DFS. Cards Titans. Washington football team versus the Chargers, Packers Saints in Jacksonville. Remember that. Vikings, Bengals, and Jets in the Panthers. And then Keg's going to give us a Thursday night football pick, which I'm really excited about. Keg, though, you were wondering where my posters went. So I got to tell you the story.
Yeah.
All right. So if everybody knows, if you've been watching I've been so excited that a bookshelf is coming. Another place that bought me the bookshelf. The bookshelf's not here. I got a brick wall behind me, just like you have a brick wall behind you. It's a beautiful brick wall, too. It's amazing how it just stops right there and it goes up. So I was given said bookshelf. They delivered the bookshelf to me, and they came upstairs and it was in a box. Now, in my contract, it clearly states you are to host shows, and nowhere did it say I need to build a bookshelf. So when the man came upstairs, I looked at the man and I said, sir, are you building this bookshelf for me? He goes, no, I'm just the delivery man. Went into my wallet, pulled out a 20, said, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm not putting a bookshelf together. I don't have time for this. I don't know how to do it. I mean, I call people to change my tires. If there's the afterworld, there's Armageddon, I'm dead. Somebody's going to end up eating me. But this is not part of my job description. And if Big T would have sent me a bookcase, I'd have done the same damn thing.
Now, what I would have been to be a fly on the wall when that guy humps that bookcase up the steps and a grown, fully able-bodied man looked him dead in the face and said, I'm not building this bookshelf. You know what? You almost have to respect the hill that you stood on. You almost have to. I mean,
I had to.
Like
and
there's not a screwdriver in the house. What do you?
No, I got a whole set of screwdrivers. I got screwdrivers. I got a drill. I got hammers. I got pliers.
What are we even talking about? Put it together.
It's gone now. I'm not going to do it.
So do you think the next one's going to come fully put together?
No, we're done with I told them I'm not doing this.
Oh, you're done with it.
Unless someone builds it and puts it back here, I'm not doing it. I'm stuck with the brick wall.
All right.
And that's about it. So
hey, it works for me, bro. I don't have a bookshelf.
Who needs a bookshelf? You got the Joker. Look at all your little things over there. You have a bad word telling people to do something. If you look at just over Keg's right shoulder, you got the Joker. I don't know what the hell. Where'd you come up with these stickers too? YouTube. Why do you have a YouTube sticker?
Because I have a 13-year-old daughter that when I was putting this little corner together, she said it needs stickers. We went on Amazon. We ordered the stickers. She put them on. I'm not going to argue with her.
I think that's interesting. Okay, nobody really notices it but me. We're going to say this again while Mangone gets back on the air. We're going to talk about the bet side first. RPS NFL 15 promo code, 15% off monthly subs for the life of the subscription. Tons of NFL content like this show every day during the week, 2:00 Eastern time. We got another show for you, whether it be just DFS or DFS and bets. And this is called Picking Winners. Picking winners. We're going to pick some winners for you today. And I hit you up the other day, Keg. I'm like, what's the bet week 1? Well, guess what? I've got a bet. And it comes from one of these games today. So I'm really pumped up about this. You are part owner on the bet side. And the most interesting thing is you have no idea what the promo code's on your side. No, you have none.
I think it's bets 25 off.
Or is it get bets? Which one?
I think bets 25 off. I think.
All right.
I could be wrong, though. You're right. I could definitely be wrong.
Try them both because the bet side is just spectacular. Keg is the best live better I know, and we're going to be doing shows real quick. Let's talk about that. When's the premium shows and when are the free shows for live betting?
I haven't figured that out yet, but here's what I know for sure. I will be live for
a show.
I will be live for every single NFL football game this year.
Yeah.
I'll be live on Monday night. I'll be live on Thursday night, and I'll be live from 1:00 in the afternoon on Sunday through Sunday night football. I'm going hard this NFL year. Gosh, I'm going hard. And then the boys, Joey, JJ, Spread, Tyler, they're going to take care of all the pregame NFL content. This is literally the only pregame NFL show that I do all week. And then I'm going to take care of all the live betting games.
Sometimes you do it. Sometimes you do this show. Sometimes you forget. Sometimes you got to go to the dentist.
I was like 14 out of 16 last year.
Not even close. You did like 12.
No. You die on the bookshelf hill. I'll die on this hill. 14 out of 16 last year.
Hey, Travis, how many shows do you think Keg missed last year? Did he make it to 12? He says 14. There's no way he made it to 14
missed
shows.
2 shows.
Yeah, my guess was going to be either I wouldn't go 12. I think 13 or 14. 14 might be right, but there's a chance. I know JJ helped out for a couple here and there. I would say your number of 12, I would be betting the over on that.
Thank you.
But there were 17 weeks. So what about 13?
13, I would still bet the over.
Wow.
My man.
If you put the hook at 13 and a half, it gets a little dicier, but I'll tell you
No.
this, if you're giving me some plus money on that 13 and a half, like a nice little plus 125, 130, I might jump on that
Yeah,
one.
I know how the show's going to go this year. You guys are going to gang up on me with total BS. It's not going to be fun. Let's get into this, guys. Let's go. Mangone's going to take care of it from the DFS side. Keg's going to take care of it from the betting side. And the number one game we got, it's a 4:00 start. That would be Eastern time, of course. And it is the Cleveland Browns and the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. I'm seeing this line between 6 and 6.5. Chiefs favorites there. The total's all the way up to 54.5. I saw this at 52.5 a little while ago. Keg, I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring game like we saw in the playoffs. Mahomes got hurt in that one. What's your take on the side and the total of the Browns and the Chiefs?
Yeah, Chiefs are a beast. You would think that they're going to be the favorite to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl again. But I would be lying if I said that I wasn't worried about the turnover. You don't often see a team that's gone to back-to-back Super Bowls almost have their entire offensive line turn over this year. So that's a big concern that nobody's really talking about. And if you look at how the turnover on the offensive line is translated to teams that have gone deep into the playoffs in years prior, the team almost always regresses badly the next season. So I think it's a watch and see September for me and the Chiefs. Luckily, they have a quarterback that is incredible when he's moving out of the pocket. So it might not affect Kansas City as much as it would another team. But I think it's something that you have to be aware of in September before we know how good this rebuilt offensive line really is. For the Browns, the first thing that stands out to me with the 2021 Browns is the defense. Clearly, they weren't happy with it last year, right? It was ranked 24th. And I think they have 6 new starters on the defense the last time I checked. It makes sense. I mean, the defense was probably the issue last year. The offense was a top 10 offense analytically almost the entire year. It looked like Baker took the next step for the most part last year. So there's a chance if all the new pieces on the defense translate in the right way to the field, the Browns team could be a much improved team than they were even last year. We won't really know for a little bit to see how the 6 new starters on the defense lock in terms of cohesion. So if the spread was 7.5, I'd probably take the Browns in the touchdown. But at 6.5, it's a pass for me. Now the total at 54.5 seems about right to me. I don't really see an edge, but I think I agree with you. If I was going to lean one way, I would lean the over. But I think the total opened up 53 like 4 or 5 months ago. So you lost a little value there. Now, if I was going to look at something in this game, I would probably be looking at Nick Chubb player prop overs because they usually underestimate Chubb's performance early in the year specifically. They did it last year and the year before that. So I'd take a real deep dive into his player props this week. Aside from that, unless this goes to the Browns 7, it's pretty much a pass for me.
That's really interesting, the Nick Chubb thing. I have not thought about Chubb this week. I know there's a lot of people thinking about Kareem Hunt. What was it? Was receptions, which I believe was it really 2.5 last time I checked? And then as far as Chubb goes, what do you think about that as we move over to the DFS side? Mangone. We'll get to the quarterbacks in just a minute, but let's get to these running backs. I think it's an interesting group that we have. Nick Chubb, and these are DraftKings price, and then I'll get to the FanDuel. Nick Chubb, 7.2 on DK, 7.7 on FanDuel. He's quite affordable. Kareem Hunt, if you wanted to go there, I don't really know if you want to go there, though. 5.5 DK, 6K on FanDuel. And then our guy, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I'm hoping actually get some work, a little bit more work than we had last year. 6.8 on both sides, Mangone. What do you got in the backfield from this game?
Yeah, overall, this is definitely a game that you can make an argument for. Great for DFS, right? Great to make tournament stacks. I mean, it's going to be fun. You can go Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill, run it back with Odell Beckham, who I think Odell Beckham is one of the better tournament receivers on this slate, right? They could obviously be trailing a ton. If you are going to play, a Mahomes, a Travis Kelce, a Tyreek Hill, I don't hate the idea of playing Nick Chubb and saying, hey, the Browns are playing more of that ball control and they're trying to stay up. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that this could go, right? This game could be close to, and all those guys absolutely dominate. And Nick Chubb still gets the job done, right? Because you could see them really trying to just control the clock and control the game. I did hear Odell basically said, like, you got to pick your poison this year with this team, right? Like, they're loaded compared to past years. I mean, if you remember 2-3 years ago, everyone was saying the Browns got this guy, they got that guy, all these talented players. Well, now they got the line. Now they got the defense. I mean, this is a team that's not a joke. I think the Browns are going to be strong contenders this year. And Keg, I want to ask you this. We talked about some of these guys DFS-wise, and I think they're all fine. They're not like priority plays for me in my cash games. I think in tournaments, they're all good options, and you can mix and match them throughout your lineups, massive totals. Odell's one of my favorite tournament plays, but I want to ask Keg about that 6 number. You said you wish it was maybe a 7 or a 7.5. The Chiefs are a public team, right? You can make an argument the Browns, some people in the past were pounding them in past years saying they'd be finally good. How do you handle this 6 number with a public team like the Chiefs that everyone loves Mahomes, right? Do you think that number can get to 7? I think that's a really good conversation to have, and talking about that key number of 6, because this is a betting show, Kagan. How do you handle that all throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the number is probably always going to inflate the later the week gets with a team like Kansas City, where the public perception of the Chiefs is probably way more substantial than the actual talent on the team. And that's saying something, because the Chiefs are rock solid. But when you're talking about teams like, now it's going to be Tampa Bay with Brady, when it was the Patriots, lines rarely go back the other way on these teams that are so popular. So do I think it's possible come Sunday morning that you see a 7, considering that the line opened at 6 at circa 5 months ago? Absolutely. I think that you could see that. And I think that you could see that a lot this year, especially if Kansas City's rolling early in the year like they normally are. So,
are you hitting that, Keg? Are you hitting that then if it gets to 7?
Yeah, I probably if it gets to 7 early enough. See, where you're probably going to see a move is Saturday morning, because a ton of public money is going to come in on college NFL teasers, and there's going to be a ton of money coming in on the Chiefs, teasing the number down, even though it's the wrong thing to do because you're not through 7, but public doesn't really know that. So I think that, yeah, I'll probably hit it at 7. But if it gets to 7 early enough, I'll probably wait a little bit and see if maybe it gets to 7.5. But considering you're seeing 6.5 right now, I think it's definitely a possibility.
Okay. Nick Chubb's rushing prop is 71.5, by the way.
But what are the carries?
What are his carries? I don't have his carries in front
The
of me.
attempts, yeah. I don't.
13.
There's no. I mean,
I'll
maybe
go look it up.
But that
I'll go
seems.
look it up.
That still all feels low for him. I don't know. I guess I think I see the Browns controlling this game a little more than others, right? Like, I don't think this game is. I think it's going to be close. If you force me to lean, I kind of lean like being on the Brown side at this current number. But I think this is going to be a good game.
My guy Tyler's already on it on the spreadsheet, over 13.5 rushing attempts.
I mean, I think this is going to be a fun game, and like DFS wise, it's going to be awesome, right? Like, it's always fun to play Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce in close games that are going to, possibly be shootouts, right? And I do think the Browns, they're going to be smart about everything, right? They're going to, the only concern I have a little bit with this game is maybe like the time of possession leans way too heavy in the Browns' favor, where the pace of play is a little slower than you'd like, which that doesn't really matter for a guy like Mahomes, right? But it is something that's worth mentioning. Like, it wouldn't shock me if the Browns won week 1. It just would not be a surprise to me at all.
I agree. Tyler's super high on the Browns this year. And you're right. It plays into exactly how the style of play that they should play in order to win this game. A ton of Chubb. I think he gets over that 13.5. I love that look by Tyler.
You love Tyler so much. Why don't you just marry him? Jeez, all you're doing is talking about Tyler.
I will say, Jay, can we go back to the Chubb prop real quick? Because the Bobby Gomes said it looks tasty, and I was trying to think this through. And again, it's like, when we first start talking NFL, I've been playing NBA, MLB, so I'm trying to remember everything, right? And the Chiefs are typically a team that they give up a lot of chunk yardage. Like, they're willing to give you 3-4 yards here and there. And they're not going to give up that big play, right? And that just plays into the favor of maybe Chubb really just absolutely dominates on the ground. And it could be that Chubb dominates on the ground and the KC offense is so good, they're just okay letting the Browns continuously try and run the ball and then let them take some shots on third down and just try to kind of get out of it. Is that something that the Chiefs defense plays to? Okay.
We're talking about a defense that finished 22nd last year. It's not like they're any great shakes.
Agreed. I'm just talking schemes, right? There are some teams that have certain we know the Eagles are a big pass funnel defense, right? Because of how bad that their secondaries. There's just I don't know if the situation's changed. I'll admit I don't know every defensive coordinator in the league and where every single one has changed. But I'm trying to think back to last year and how we approach stuff, and I'm just trying to clarify with you to make sure that we get on the right side of it. So I think that over.
I would have to go back and check, but if I remember right, their third down defense was pretty bad last year. I would have to go back and check though, so don't quote me on that. But I think they were pretty bad.
It wasn't as bad as the Titans, but it was probably pretty bad, I'm sure.
Right.
Anybody else, Mangone, we could talk about? Mahomes. Remember last year, the shootout between Mahomes and Watson. Baker Mayfield. Obviously, there's just so many stars. Hill, Travis Kelce. A lot of people be on Hardman. My guy is Byron Pringle. It might take him a little while, but I think he's going to win that job because Hardman just drops too many passes. So lots going on in this game, man. Throw out a couple of names that you would consider in a tournament or cash in week one.
Yeah, I'm not really dying to play these guys in cash games this week. You can make the argument again, Kelce and Hill can be have some concentrated volume towards them, but I think there's better spots on these slate. I think it's good for tournaments. I think Odell Beckham is a really, really good low-owned tournament play. Maybe he's getting ownership that I'm not realizing, but I don't think people are going that route. I don't think people are going into that mid-tier. Just to put in perspective, on DraftKings, Odell Beckham costs 5.4K. I mean, when is the last time Odell Beckham was 5.4? I mean, that's just a crazy price. So like him a lot in tournaments, thinks he's a really, really strong play. And Nick Chubb at 7,200, he's a good one on the Browns. And obviously you can do, as Draft Cheat likes to say, our boy, always Mahomes. You can always run a Mahomes, Kelce, and a Tyreek Hill stack. I'll never tell you not to do that.
Okay, very good. Final thoughts, Keg? Anything else on this game? Or are we ready to move on?
We're ready.
Ready to move on? Very good. I'm ready to move on too. We'll get to the Cardinals Titans in just a second. Want to remind everybody, RPS NFL 15 is the promo code. Gets you 15% off your monthly subs for the life of your subscription. Tons of NFL content between written podcasts. Last night I did the Old Guys pod. If you're a subscriber or not, go listen to that. Uncle T, G Risen, and JT Hayes, who really just destroyed JSU on the pod last night, made fun of his wine, made fun of his height, did everything he could to make JSU feel like a piece of garbage. And I wasn't working with that. I was defending JSU. That might be a lie. So Old Guys pod, the Wishbones out there. I'll tape with the young guys tonight. And don't forget, if you're still playing best ball, Simon, our producer, been doing great stuff with Bobby Gomes, Snyder, and the boys. Best ball season's going on. Run Pure is the code on Underdog, $25 deposit bonus there. Okay, next game to get to. Oh, hit the like button too. You're supposed to do that so we can get some more exposure. Arizona, Tennessee. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Wow. How bad is this Tennessee secondary going to get carved up by Kyler Murray? Or is it not, Keg? Because the line in this game, let's go look at the lines. It's kind of a sexy one. Titans -3, 51.5 is the total. If you wanted to bet the under, 52.5 at one place. What do you got here, Keg?
Yeah, the Cardinals basically took the best unit that they had statistically in 2020, and they ripped a bunch of it apart and revamped it. They were the 10th best defense last year by the numbers, right? Yet both starting quarterbacks from a year ago are gone, in Patrick Peterson and Kirkpatrick. They lose about 12.5 sacks with Hassan Reddick, goes to the Carolina Panthers. Now, They did sign J.J. Watt, right? They did draft Zayvon Collins, who is a stud out of Tulsa in the first round. Isaiah Simmons is a year older now, right? And Byron Murphy and Alford will take over at the corner spots. And we're left to figure out what that means for this defense early in the year. And the only thing that you can say about that is who the hell knows? I think we're going to need a few weeks before we really know what we have here with this new defense for Arizona. Now, luckily, Jalen Thompson and Budda Baker are both back, right? The safeties. So they should be the glue that holds that secondary together early in the year. And we'll be saying this a lot early in the year with teams that have multiple new starters on the offense and the defense. It's going to take a little while before we know what these new players mean to these teams. And I wouldn't want to go up against the Tennessee Titans with all the question marks that early. Now, offensively, I expect a lot of the same from the Cardinals. You're going to have weeks where Kyler Murray looks like the sickest talent in the NFL. And you're going to have weeks where you're saying, what is this kid doing? Shit in the bed. So he's got a new toy, at least, to play with in A.J. Green. I know players like Larry Fitz and Dan Arnold, who I think was underrated last year. They're gone, right? But it should be status quo for the offense because I don't think losing players like Kenyon Drake aren't going to make or break you most of the time. So as far as the Titans, I think we see a lot of the good from last year and less of the bad. I took them to win the AFC South this year because while I do think that the Colts have a good team, I know what I'm getting with Tannehill in Tennessee. And there is no guarantee that Reich is going to be able to return Carson Wentz to a championship level quarterback. So looking at what they did in the offseason, it's a lot of high caliber plug and play guys, right? They lose Corey Davis, they get Julio Jones. They lose Adam Humphries, they get, in my opinion, a very underrated Josh Reynolds, right? Now, they lose Butler, right? They get Janoris Jenkins, but they do pick up Bud Dupree, which is a huge get. Now, there's a lot of moving pieces on both sides of the ball for this offense. By the end of the season, I think that they're going to still be in that 4 to 6 range in terms of team stats. But the big question is the defense. And this happened to two teams the last 2 years. The Titans and the Bills had one of the best defenses in football 2 years ago and somehow became absolutely god-awful last year. I think both teams' defense regressed to a happy medium. Now, were they top 3 defenses 2 years ago? Probably not. But are they 28th and 29th from last year? No, I don't think so. I think that these defenses are going to find a happy middle. And if it all falls right for the Titans, man, and that defense is somewhere in the middle of the range, and that offense does what it did last year, they're going to be a really tough team to deal with. So as far as the spread, the number seems about right to me in week 1. Maybe a slight lean towards the Titans here, but not enough to get me on board at 3. I think the total seems about right also. I give a slight lean to the under, and I'll tell you why. Early in the year, I think we're going to see the opposite of what happened last year. Last year, games flew over last season early, right? Books didn't really catch up until around week 9. Why? People think it was because of no crowd noise, right? Game conditions were really practice field conditions. This season, the last 2 draft classes will have to deal with normal conditions, crowd noise, and I think it's going to affect them early. So wow. I'm going to lean to the under early in the year, and I'll lean to the under in this game.
Wow, look at Keg breaking it out there with a little rookie class not being comfortable. I know Mangone thinks that Cliff Kingsbury is a chump. Let's get to the DFS side and talk about his team, though. Kyler Murray, MVP candidate first half of the season, got a little banged up, was not the same guy. Ryan Tannehill, one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the league. If this thing turns into a shootout, he's got a pass, he can run. He's got a nice new little target there in Julio Jones. Derrick Henry, let's start with him, though. Mangone, I just don't play this guy in DFS the first half of the season. It's maybe there's going to be an exception here and there. It's a juicy matchup. I get it, but I probably won't have any Henry this week.
Yeah, it doesn't seem too necessary. And now, of course, he's not really going to be owned, right? So if you are going to play like a Kyler and DeAndre Hopkins stack, and let's say you're deciding between, I don't know, CMC and Derrick Henry. It's not a crazy idea just to go Derrick Henry because it just correlates, right? I mean, it is Derrick Henry. We know what he can do. If you are going to play Julio Jones, this is the week, not week 7 when he's limping around with his, leg bothering him or whatever he has. I know he got a little hurt in practice, but I think this is the better time to maybe play Julio if you are going to play Julio, right? So you can take a shot at 6-8 if you want. You know what the upside is. Like I said, you can play A.J. Brown, Tannehill, and Julio. Those are perfectly fine stack options you can go to. I really like the Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins stack, and I don't think you have to full-on stack it and go Rondell Moore, A.J. Green, Chris Kirk. I don't think you have to mess with those guys. You can literally just play DeAndre Hopkins and play Kyler Murray and make it like a skinny stack, right? It's not the full-on a quarterback with the 2 receivers and then the other run back. And then it allows you also to play a bunch of other guys that you'd like to, especially on a week where there's a lot of mispriced players around the industry. I think that you can make an argument that would you rather play Chris Kirk at 4 or 5 or maybe kind of under-owned Odell Beckham at 5.4K? I think I'd rather go with that. I know it's a salary difference of $900, but the point I'm getting at is sometimes you take up roster spots by doing that, stack. If you go, 1 quarterback with 2 receivers, you obviously don't have to when you go Kyler Murray and a DeAndre Hopkins, and Kyler Murray can get the job done running the ball. And we know the upside that these rushing quarterbacks can have. Some of these quarterbacks, they literally just can't get 35 fantasy points. I mean, some of these passers can't get there, but you know who can? Kyler Murray. He can also get the 40 fantasy points. He has a ceiling at a position where you can only roster 1 player. And if Kyler Murray gets the 40 fantasy points and the next closest player is at 30, where are you making up those 10 fantasy points? That's really key with me with these rushing quarterbacks. I love the Kyler Murray and the DeAndre Hopkins stack in tournaments. I think it's a really, really great one. And of course, some of these Titans are good, but it is getting a little more crowded. They're adding Julio Jones into the mix.
Both of you guys, I want to talk about Kyler's rushing prop, okay? 42.5. Again, when we saw this guy healthy, he's running for 42.5. How do you handicap this, man, going just from a player prop perspective? How much is Murray going to have to use his legs? Might not even have to. He'll just do it anyways. Is 42.5 juicy or a number we just want to fade?
So typically I think the way you want to attack not a Kyler Murray, but any rushing quarterback's prop, I think you want to attack it in a game that you know it's going to interact, right? It's going to be a back and forth. I think we have that here. I also think another reason you want to attack a running quarterback is when he's going to be getting pressured a ton. Now, I don't think the Titans will pressure Murray that much, but he is a design type runner. I think those are the 2 recipes to make a perfect rushing prop for a guy. Now, let's go to Keg because he's more of the sports bettor, right? I love doing the props. Do you agree with what I say here, Keg, when attacking a rushing prop? And what's your thoughts on Kyler Murray's over? Because I think I like it because it interacts well.
Let me jump in on this, Keg, because JJ on the bet side told me something that was very profitable last year. Betting quarterback rushing props in the second half with a team that's down, right? That to me, I cleaned up on that prop last year. So Mangone asked you a question, but I'll ask you a question first. Is this a game maybe where we want to see where it's sitting and bet it live? Or to Mangone's point here, what do you think about the 42.5?
I think everything that Mangone said is right about the recipe for when you want it taken over. I think that's dead on. The only person that probably doesn't translate to is Lamar Jackson because so much of the offense is him running the ball way more than Murray. But I think everything.
Oh, Jay, that's different. Lamar Jackson's a running back, right? He's not a quarterback. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, but JJ and I did that a ton on the live shows last year with the team that's down. You know why? Because when you're down, you'll always think if you have legs like Kyler Murray, you'll get those guaranteed yards, get out of bounds, stop the clock, and you can just keep the chains moving so much easier that way. So I agree with that totally. Now, if you don't think he's going to run that much in the first half, that number will probably go from 42 to 29, maybe somewhere in that range. If you don't think he runs that much and he's not close to breaking that number, where you can get a much better number at the half going over. But I don't think he went. We would have to go back and look game by game, but I don't think that he went over his rushing yards prop as much as we think he might have last year. I would have to go back and check on that.
I think I would like Kyler's maybe like, and that you're probably getting better juice too on this. And it's more of a risk, but I think the rushing touchdown prop might be better. And this is my sell on it, because a team that you can design run plays and do whatever you want and call on your own number, like that's a team with the Titans. You could see like the Cardinals just going downfield and the defense just isn't looking that great. And then Kyler just easily, as they kind of chunk yardage down the field, when you know that you can just run all over a team and do what you want, that's a perfect situation for Kyler to get in there. And then, of course, he can scramble too and find his way there as well. So I think that if I was attacking the Kyler prop, that's maybe where I would want to go and feel more confident in betting that. Do you kind of agree or disagree, Jeff?
Yeah, I would agree, but I'm just looking at his game by game last year. So what was the number?
41.5, Holden, right?
42.5. And I'm looking at it too, Keg. And if you look at the second half of the season, though, it's not telling the story because Kyler was banged up. Okay. That is
true. He was hurt for like you were on it, Holden, right? It was like a 4 to 5 week period. And then you said hurt. He's fine now. And then he just exploded. I remember that.
Yeah, but he was hurt and now he's healthy again, Keg. I think what you look at with Kyler Murray is probably his first 5 games from last year when he was 100%.
He went over 9 times last year.
All right. So 9 and 7 in a season where he was really hampered for at least 6 games,
Right.
6 games. Okay. So that's kind of pointing to the over for me. I know that what's going to happen though, is I'll bet this live. I'll end up betting it live, but I love the number and it's inflated, but he can do it. He can absolutely do it.
Yeah. The injuries is a good point. He was definitely not 100% for a large part of the year. So, I mean, 9 and 7 still, he went over more than he didn't.
Otter on the over saying Rondale Moore anytime touchdown on a jet sweep. Okay.
I'll say this. I hate that bet. The reason why I hate that bet is why are you betting a rookie in week 1, right? Like that line is probably, I just don't think betting on rookies early on is the best idea. I want them to get more acclimated to the offense. You can probably get better numbers in a couple weeks, right? Or you can get the same number. Like, I just think early on, it's not the best idea. Now, again, you can do what you want, but that's just my opinion on it. I don't love betting on these rookies early on. I want to wait a little bit. And of course, I want to be the first one there. But I think the first game, you kind of just take the wait and see approach on most of these rookies.
Okay, let's get to our third game. My goodness, we are taking our time here, and hopefully you're liking it. If you do, hit the like button. It's a free show. We do it for you. And again, RPS NFL 15 promo code, 15% off monthly subscriptions for the life of the subscription. Tons of NFL content coming. The code only works until the season starts, so the rest of this week, and then you're done. If you're not familiar with us, during the NFL, you still get the guys' course. Big T, JSU, Hoop, Mangone, all the guys. And I'm leaving some guys out, but that's okay. I can't name them all right now. And it is the best product I have ever had in my life. I will say that. If I was not working here, I would be a subscriber, and that's 100% true. So RPS NFL 15, Keg actually owns the bet side, does not know what the code is. So just add the bet side for 15% off when you sign up for the DFS side. He's saying get bets 25. I'm not so sure. You know, it's either that or it's RPS NFL 15.
Bets 25 off.
Okay.
So you can also do RPS NFL 15. It works on the bet side as well, and that's the lifetime long. So you can do that too. There's both. So there you go.
Yeah, sign up so I can get someone to build my bookshelf. That would be wonderful. So I don't have to do it by myself. The next game we have here, Washington football team and the Los Angeles Chargers in the nation's capital. This line's kind of been, -1 Chargers. I'm seeing it -0.5 if you go to Fox Bet, which I don't have. So that's interesting on that line. The total here, kind of low, 44.5. This is one of the lower totals on the slate this week. Keg, I find this to be a fascinating game. I think the Chargers defense is underrated. Everybody thinks that the football team defense could take the step as the best in the league. I think the Chargers now, with a new coaching staff and the talent they got on that side of the ball, could also be a team that vaults into the top 5 to 7 defenses in the National Football League. Anything on the side or the total, again, if you can get it at 0.5 point, go for it. -1 or +1 is fine too. 44.5 is the total, Kegger.
This is probably the game I'm most excited to watch. On first thing we got to talk about, Anthony Lynn gone, right? All right. I mean, come on, man. This team lost so many close games last year in the final minutes that there's no way that Brandon Lynn can possibly be worse. Brandon Staley, I mean. There's no way that he could be worse. It's impossible. So they're ahead of the 8 ball there. Now, two biggest things that concern me with the Chargers team are the number of new faces on the offensive line. And the fact that unless you're Patrick Mahomes, second-year quarterbacks tend to regress their level of play in year 2. Why? Because obviously there are 16 games of tape to dissect and look for weaknesses with Herbert. So if you add that to the fact that they were around the 20th best defense last year, although they did deal with injuries all last year, I'm going to be a little skeptical early because I want to see Herbert show me something early. Now, Washington, bro. I love this team. Based on what we saw last season, the defense is elite. They're going to be elite again, right? And I think that the single best move that this team could have done in the offseason was get a veteran quarterback who could win games and score enough points on the weeks where the defense has a bad week. And they did that in Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm a big Fitzy guy. I always have been. And I think that he really was what this team needed to get over the hump, in my opinion. I took them plus 280 to win the NFC East because based on their chances, I think that number was insane. Should the Cowboys be favored? Yes. Should the opener have been plus 280? Not even close. So that defense is going to defense, and the offense, I think, is going to do enough this year to be in the mix to win the East. So as far as the spread, Kush, I waited all off season for this number to get off 2 and go to 3 so I can take Washington, but it didn't. It started to go the other way, and then I lost it. So I can't bet them at +1. But while it's a pass, it will be one of the games that I will be watching intently on the Sunday live show, because if they go down early, there's a good chance that I might get on them.
Wow.
The total feels about right. I'm so high on the Washington team and what their potential is, right? So if it all goes right for them, would it shock me to see them shut the Chargers down? Not really. So 44.5 feels about right to me. I don't really see an edge there, but I'll be looking to get on Washington live should they go down early.
Okay. This is interesting here, Mangone, because it's a low total. A lot of us are not really expecting very many points. McLaurin's talking about the secondary. Of course, she's not going to rip the Chargers secondary, but he does admit, this could be a hell of a challenge. Now, if you are rostering Herbert or Fitzpatrick or Gibson or Eckler, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas, you're going to get some massive leverage there, but does it make sense to go there in week 1?
Yeah, I think there's some interesting options here. You can talk about some condensed targets, right? McLaurin will get his, Keenan Allen should get his. I kind of like how Austin Eckler fits salary-wise, and I like how he matches up kind of with the Washington football team's defense, right? He's a guy that can catch a lot of pass-off dumps, and when you have a team that can rush the quarterback, well, what happens? You have to throw it quick, and who's going to be nearby to catch an easy pass? Well, that's Austin Eckler. So on PPR sites, Austin Eckler definitely makes a lot of sense. I think he's a really good play. Keenan Allen, good tournament option that you can go to. He's going to be under-owned. You can definitely take a shot on him. I know Mike Williams is a massive target, right? He's those Washington football team corners are really small. So you can make an argument for him that he could have an upside ceiling game. I just worry about this total. Like, it's very low. The one thing that is worth mentioning is this is a team in the Chargers that have a new coach. They can play a bit slower, but if they're down, maybe they don't play a little bit slower, right? Maybe this does go over the total. Maybe it does get to a 49 or 50. Keep in mind, this is week 1 NFL. We do not know everything that is going to happen. So embrace that a little bit. If you're going to tell me no one is on a Washington football team in Charger stack and you're playing 150 lineups, I don't hate sprinkling this because there are some really talented players in this game. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Keenan Allen went for 200 yards, 10 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. Of course, I'm not predicting it, but it just wouldn't shock me because of the talent receiver he is. So ultimately, this is a game that you can target. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick has an interesting price tag on FanDuel, but I'm not like loading up on this game, right? There's certain prices that I'll shop. There's certain areas where I see some condensed targets that I'll take a look at, but this isn't a game that I'm going crazy with. And if I was playing tournaments and I know that no one's going to be on it, it's a 1% stack, then I'll take a shot and just buy on talent that it can win out.
Okay, very good. We'll move on to our next game here. We got the Packers Saints. I want to remind everybody that this is a road game for the Packers. It's in Jacksonville, though. So before we even get into the line or anything, Keg, just the switch to the venue, does that do anything for you? Because obviously the home crowd is not going to be there for New Orleans. As a matter of fact, I can see a path where there's half of the place is Packers fans. So how do you handle this new stadium they're going to? All right, let me get the lines too, since we're sitting here. But how does that happen? -4 for the Packers. Total is 50, +4 for the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so angry at myself that I didn't get on the Packers. I talked about it in the Discord for 6 weeks that I was going to take a -2, and something just stopped me from doing it. But I mean, listen, the Saints home field is one of the last remaining true 3-point line moves in the NFL right now, home field advantage. So the fact that this is on a neutral field is huge now. And the line's moving that way because of it. And I think it's probably still not where it should be. I would think 5 is probably where it should be, because I think the Packers were probably a 2-point favorite on the road. Had the Saints played home. I expect us to see the Packers in the same position they were after the regular season last year. I mean, the only thing that it truly to be concerned about is the loss to Bakhtiari. Nothing else has changed. If Jenkins can keep him protected, we're going to see the exact same thing that we saw from Rodgers in that offense a year ago. Aaron Jones is happier with a contract extension, right? Rodgers has his friend back with Randall Cobb. I mean, it's all kumbaya. The only thing is that tackle. And we just have to see if Jenkins holds the line, this offense is going to do what it did last year. And for the Saints, the big news in the offseason for the Saints, obviously Drew Brees. Peyton made the right move to start Winston because they really need Taysom Hill as a weapon. This team has nobody on offense that scares you after Kamara. Their top 3 receivers are Marcus Callaway, Traquan Smith, and Jordan Humphrey. I mean, I'm not afraid of that. The fucking Jets have better wide receivers. I mean, come on. Those weapons I'm not impressed with. So they need Taysom Hill to be a weapon this year. Now, how is the offense going to be? Probably great some games and bad some others. That's what you get when you're with James, right? They're going to be live probably most games, though, because he could throw 4 touchdowns or he could throw 4 picks. Now, the defense, which was second best in the league last year, has almost everybody coming back. And I think that defense is going to be a top 5 defense again. They're really, really good. And like I said, I almost pulled the trigger on the Packers line when they were -2 about 10 times. And I didn't. And now it's on a neutral, and I'm just kicking myself in the face. So I have to stay away from the side now. I nothing on the side. Total feels about right. You know, is there a defense that can really stop Aaron Rodgers from doing what he does? Most of the time, 90% no, but it's worth saying that when he's not at Lambeau, he's a 500 quarterback. I mean, those are just the facts. So I don't know. I blew this game 6 weeks ago, Gush.
Yeah.
When I didn't take the -2, and I'm just disgusted with myself.
Yeah, I'm disgusted because I missed you saying bro during this. I forgot how much I missed it. I really did. I'm not even kidding. It's like now it's football season. I'm back with Keg. He's broing us up. Hey, Mangone, I got 2 things for you on this game. First of all, is Randall Cobb going to get more than 3 catches? I don't think so. He goes into this offense here. It's obviously going to be, what's the number 1? Adams, dump it down to the running back, Tunyon, maybe MVS. I mean, is Cobb going to step in and be that possession receiver again? And the other guy I'll talk about real quick is Callaway. Now, yes, Keg, Callaway, when it's all said and done, not an elite wide receiver, but he is in line for massive volume. Mangone at 3.4K on DraftKings. How popular is this dude going to be?
Very popular, right? So I was talking in one of a Discord chat with some people today, and opportunity is like the number 1 thing in DFS, right? And opportunity here for Callaway is super, super valuable, right? At 3.4K, you get a wide receiver 1 with a quarterback that's not scared to throw the ball, right? Sure, is the cornerback matchup maybe going to be a little more difficult? Sure, it could be, but I don't know where they're lining their guys up, right? And the Packers defense can, be a disaster at times. So I think that Callaway is a good play. He's also very cheap. Feels like more of a cash game option because of the ownership in tournaments. Be aware, like if you do play him, he's going to be very chalky. People are going to look to go to him. Maybe go to a Deontay Harris as a pivot. Maybe pay up a little bit more for a Traquan Smith. Maybe it's Alvin Kamara now with no Latavius Murray there. Definitely worth looking at. I think Devontae Adams is a really great receiver option on this slate. We had the Jordan and Pippen post, right, from Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. You can't post the Jordan and Pippen post and not come out and look good in week 1. I mean, you can't do it, right, Jay? You're a Michael Jordan Bulls guy, Jay. You got to come out with a big game, right, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, you can't post a picture like that and not go for 330 and like 10 for 148.
Yeah,
I mean,
it can't be you can't have the diva offseason that you had and then post that and not come out swinging the first
100%.
game. Right?
Yeah, I mean, like half the country thought he was going to host Jeopardy. I mean, now you have to come out now and just drop your balls right on the table.
Of course, and he's going to do that. And I'm a Packers guy. You got it right here. There's Favre, but I love me some Rodgers. He's my favorite quarterback of all time, even over Brett Favre. But I think they're obviously a good stack. I think Devontae Adams is a really strong play for cash games and for tournaments. And I think that Kamara is a guy that he might be a running back that gets left out a little bit compared to some of these other guys at the top. Maybe ownership is on him a little bit more than I'm thinking, but he does. I mean, obviously Derrick Henry is probably not going to get ownership. Like that's a guy that won't be owned much. Kamara feels like the next guy in line compared to like a Christian McCaffrey who people talk up and all these other guys. He'll get some, right? But Kamara's a really strong play. The only thing that you can say about Kamara that might change a little bit is he doesn't have Drew Brees there anymore, right? He does not have Teddy Bridgewater checking it down to him. So Kamara might not get the same PPR volume that you're hoping, but he is still going to be elite for his touchdown equity. Yes, there's Taysom Hill that can steal some stuff at the goal line. Ultimately, he's still a really good play. I'm not trying to shit on Kamara at all, but I want to mention that because I do think that Kamara will see some more wide range of outcomes at times because he won't have the PPR floor saving him some weeks. So that's something that we should talk about again because Jameis Winston, me and Jay are big believers in him. We've talked about that on some live shows and had a good time. He does like to sling the ball, and he's got some better vision now. So I'm excited to see what my boy Jameis does. And he's a really good tournament option that people might not make GPP Saints stacks because they're a little bit scared that Taysom Hill might steal some work from him. But Taysom could easily catch a touchdown pass instead of running it in. I think Winston's going to be a guy that wins some people $1 million this year.
What do you think about Cobb?
That's a great call, by the way. I think Kamara could definitely see less volume because Winston's throwing it downfield.
What do you think about Cobb under 3.5 receptions? Like, is it just too up in the air? We see a guy come in, he's 31 years old now, right? There's at least 3 better receiving options on this team, but Mangone, it's an uncomfortable bet, but it's,
yeah, I think that's a bad.
What?
I think I'll say that why I think it's a bad bet.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen. And I also, you mentioned there's like better receiving options. Are we sure of that? Like Aaron Rodgers literally threw a tantrum this offseason because of Randall Cobb, right? Like he's going to get work, I would assume.
Because of Randall Cobb?
That was part of it. He was mad that they traded him. He was pissed off that they traded Randall Cobb without asking. He was pissed about the Jay Kumaro thing. The Randall Cobb thing wasn't maybe everything, but it played into the equation. If you had a pie chart of what made Aaron Rodgers mad leading up, that Randall Cobb trade and not asking at all and just doing it was definitely part of it because they went out to go get Randall Cobb to make him happy again. So I do think that Randall Cobb could see more work in this offense than you realize. I think he could be a bigger part of it. Okay. And it's in a dome, right? I mean, Randall Cobb in a dome would probably be a better spot to target him if you were going to. I just think it's too unknown and I don't need to mess with it right now is where I'm kind of.
You know what? I like it. Thank you for talking me off the ledge there. What do you think, Keg?
Yes to all that.
Okay. Yes to all that. Stay away from Randall Cobb props. We don't know what the hell is going to happen. Okay.
By the way, you love to see it. Philly Joe is on his second burner account in the chat. Hey, Philly Joe, you'll be shipped out of here soon. No worries. But hit that like and subscribe, guys. We love having you. And I love doing this show every week with you guys. And I think it's a super profitable show. And if you're not a Run Pure Sports subscriber or Run Pure Bets, get in on it now and use that code RPSNFL15 to get 15% off.
Okay. Get Philly Joe out of here. So Mangone just gave you the spiel on that. We got 2 more games to get to, then our Thursday night football pick. Vikings Bengals is the next one. Who picked Vikings Bengals? Which one of you picked that game?
Mangone.
Mangone, why did you pick this game?
Which game? Bengals and Vikings?
Yeah.
A lot of reasons to talk Bengals and Vikings. I'll start it off, right? So
let me give the line.
Okay.
3 or 3.5 in favor of the Vikings. Wow, that 3 looks kind of sexy. 47.5, 48. I got some 48s at BetMGM is the total here. So why'd you pick this?
Well, I picked it because Joe Burrow, I mean, he slung the rock last year, right? I mean, this is a guy that passed it a ton. DFS-wise, that's what you're looking for, right? You are looking for pass attempts. And it is worth mentioning on the other side, don't sleep on the Vikings defense, right? Because this Bengals offensive line could be shaky. I think it could go either way. It's either going to go really good or really bad. I don't know which way it's going to go. They've talked up that it's gotten a little bit better. But I do think that a Vikings defense is an interesting play. I think Joe Burrow, because of the pass attempts that he has, helps a Vikings defensive play. It also helps all those Bengals. Now, the question is, which receiver are you going to pair with it? How are you going to make it work? There's so many different options now. T. Higgins, Chase, you got Boyd. At the tight end position, right? They have Sample. They go to, CJ Uzmanzada. They do a bunch of different stuff at tight end all the time. So Joe Burrow does spread the ball out a bit. I do think that the Bengals could be a really interesting tournament stack. My only worry is, again, I talked about it. I get a little cautious with rookies at the start, but I do think Joe Burrow throws a ton of volume, and I think he's worth looking at DFS-wise over the next 8 weeks or more. I think he's someone that you need to talk about and consider because of the volume he puts up. Another reason to talk about the Bengals, and then we'll get to the Vikings, Joe Mixon. 6.2K. I think he was on the winning Millie Maker lineup last year against the Jags. I've heard that talked up on some industry stuff. And it's because, hey, Joe Mixon, he is a talented guy, but in the past, he's had a bit of a crowded backfield. But he is 6.2K, and he is going to get the volume this year. He's also going to see more passing work, it seems like. We don't have a lot of bell cows in this league anymore, right? Well, is Samaje Perine, is Williams, is Evans, Patrick, or Williams Jr., are any of these guys going to steal that much work from Joe Mixon? I don't think so. I'm not saying I want to target the Vikings defense, but when volume and talent are put together, it can be special. And I do think that Joe Mixon can have a really good DFS year, especially on a site where, again, there's a lot of passing going on and PPR can be big. I mean, Joe Burrow to Joe Mixon and a Tyler Boyd could be a really interesting stack on this slate, or even a T. Higgins in his second year if you want to just attack a second-year receiver. And on the other side, the Vikings, I mean, one thing that I love in DFS to do is I love concentrated targets, right, where I know the volume is going to go. I do know Dalvin Cook is going to eat. I know he's going to get his production. I know he's going to get runs. He's going to be involved a ton. Sure, Alexander Madison can get mixed in here and there, but I know Dalvin Cook is a volume machine. I also know at the receiver position, here it goes, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and then we go to a rookie in Smith Marset, right? I know that Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson are going to be peppered with targets. We talk about how rookie receivers, it takes them some time. Justin Jefferson, it took him no time. He just got off the ground running and absolutely smashed last year, broke rookie records. Imagine what he can do in his second year. I mean, I'm just not going to ignore this game. It is upsetting that it's in Cincinnati, right? If you were in a dome, it'd be a little bit better in Minnesota, but there's just so much DFS goodness to like here, man. I can't ignore it. I think it's a game that could really shoot out more than people think.
The weather is going to be terrific everywhere. It might be a little hot in a couple places, but most of the outdoor games, 80 degrees, 85 degrees. I think Kansas City's got a 90-degree day there. So we'll have some hot and humid, and we're not going to see any precipitation, at least not right now. And things can change. I mean, what is it, Wednesday right now? Are we on Wednesday or Thursday? This is Wednesday, yeah. So we taped this Wednesday. Keg.
Yep.
So, you know what? Before I go to you, Keg, I want to go back to this real quick. We love Justin Jefferson. We love Thielen. I do not love Kirk Cousins, though. Like, you can see the two receivers getting a lot of work. Can you play those two guys without Kirk Cousins? And if you are, is it just a Burrow and a Cincinnati stack, and you're wrapping it back?
I mean, you can play Kirk Cousins with both those guys, right? And on top of that, you look at Dalvin Cook. He's going to be someone that gets ownership. He's going to be someone that people, I think, go and play, and that could be a nice little leverage spot where if Dalvin Cook's not scoring, well, who is scoring? I don't think it's going to be the rookie in Smith Marset. I think it's going to be Thielen. I think it's going to be Jefferson. So I do think that's a pretty interesting little stack to go with. And if you are scared to maybe go with the Burrow and figure out who to pair it up with, like, you can go with Joe Mixon and then pair it with a Kirk Cousins and then pair it with an Adam Thielen and a Justin Jefferson stack. And if I told you, Holden, hey, Justin Jefferson scored 2 touchdowns, Adam Thielen scored 1, and Kirk Cousins threw 4, maybe it was still a random tight end, or maybe do even Dalvin Cook and it wasn't a big deal, you wouldn't be surprised by that outcome. No. So I think that it's a sneakier stack that people should definitely be looking at on this slate and not ignoring it all.
Kegger, just looking at the total here, seems a little bit low to me. Then we've got the Vikings team total 25.5. I mean, they should go over that, but that's just an odd number, isn't it? 21.5 for Cincinnati. Talk to me about this total real quick. The two team totals, and then the 47.5 we're seeing, and 48.
Yeah, I mean, I lean for this game to go over too, and I understand what Mangone's saying about the defense should be improved. I mean, they got Patrick Peterson now, right? Xavier Woods, Nick Vigil. So but there is, and I said this a lot today, the amount of turnover on teams, especially these teams that are 7-9. It's so, and this is a lesson for everybody. It is so easy to blow through your bankroll in September in the NFL. Before I was able to do this for a living and not have a job but gamble, I lost so much money taking my lumps and blowing through units. Like, if you start betting on teams, you don't have a clue how these pieces are going to do in Minnesota. You need a couple weeks to see what's going on. You don't want to be 15 to 20 units down on October 1st, and you're like, I'm done with NFL for the year. I'm finished. Better luck next year. So I think you really have to sit back and watch half-unit shots here and there and wait for the data to come in and build off of that. I agree with Holden. I am not a Cousins believer, so I'm never going to take this team seriously until they turn that position over for sure. Now, Mangone said a lot about Joe Burrow. As far as the Bengals, I think they have two very big things going against them. One, their defense was absolutely horrific last season, and they didn't do anything close to enough to fix the majority of the issues. Number two, Joe Burrow was making strides, improving every week before the injury, but he missed 35% of his rookie year. So he's way behind an average second-year quarterback right now. Now, I think that he's good enough to eventually overcome that this year. But the first few weeks specifically, he's still very much a rookie quarterback. And what comes with rookie quarterbacks? Rookie mistakes. So I think that this offense could potentially struggle early. And that's the reason why I'm not running to the window to bet the Bengals early. That being said, I do lean the over with this total because the Bengals defense is horrific. And I do think that Joe Burrow, while technically still a rookie, should either move the ball or make mistakes, turn the ball over, and give the Vikings great field position. Either way, I think it's going to equal points in the end. So I agree with you. I think 47 seems a little low. I lean over. As far as the side, you know, if you gave me a free bet, I would probably lay it, but I don't like it. I really don't like the side at all. Okay. So I'll go over.
All right, very good. Mangone, RPS NFL 15. We got one more game to get to, Jets Panthers. Then we'll get Keg's pick on Thursday Night Football. But what are some of the things we got going on here at Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets before we get this season started?
Yeah, and I got a bet for the Thursday night show, or the Thursday night game. So
Mangone too. Sorry,
don't miss out.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have tons of stuff going on here, right? Someone actually texted me today. They're actually watching the show. They said, "Are you ready for NFL?" I said, "Well, we have MLB tonight, right? We got college football Friday night, Saturday night. Like, I'm getting there. I'm excited for NFL, but there's more going on too, right? DFS is like a day-to-day thing. I have looked at NFL. I am excited for it, but we still got other stuff going on. I got to get ready for college football. We got some Friday night slates. We got some Saturday slates, and we got the night ones. I can't wait for that. So we have all that at Run Pure. We give you everything, right? Jay talked about it. You get NASCAR. You get MMA. You get all the DFS content here. As Hoop likes to say, we're not going to charge you, X amount of dollars for our MMA package or our NASCAR package or our CSGO. You are getting everything for one price. $80 a month. Get that 15% off for life if you sign up now using that code RPS NFL 15, as long as you stick with us. So we got it all. And, man, it's going to be a jam-packed weekend of sports, and I can't wait.
All right. I like the pitch there. Again, like button.
We win a lot. What's up? We win a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the screenshots from the members, it's been unbelievable. I mean, it's all over Twitter all the time. And on top of that, we got Showdown content, right? Like, don't play without checking out the Showdown content from, we like to say, one of the best tournament players in the world, Mr. Big T. He's the man. He absolutely crushes it. He's been on a heater.
Ass kisser. Oh my God.
Not for nothing. He is a phenom.
Hey, does anyone kiss your ass as much as Mangone kisses?
Well, I'm up 82 units and I can't get a retweet.
I know. He's like, Keg, screw it. 82 units. Big T. Oh, I'll just stick my nose in his butt. Come on, Mangone.
I mean, listen, when Russ Hanneman makes the best cameo of all time, you got to call the man Big T and just support the man. He's absolutely amazing and he's been crushing it. So I got to root on my boy Big T. And of course I root on my boy Keg. And I know we're going to have a massive, massive year here over at Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets.
Can we just do this Jets Panthers game quick? I mean, let's get going here.
It's not going to be as quick as you think. Jets Panthers is a little tasty.
I mean, not for nothing. We're only at an hour 6, and he had the blue screen of death for 10 minutes. We're all right.
No, that's a great point. We're just going to bolt in mid-sentence. That's going to be good. Actually, we're not in any rush, so I'm not worried about it. Let's do the Jets and the Panthers. Keg, you're a Jets fan. Mangone's, what do we call it, 6 to midnights or 6 to whatever? So the question is, should it be 6 to noon instead of 6 to midnight? What do you think?
I don't have an answer for that.
I guess midnight and noon, or I'd prefer 6 to noon. So who wants to go?
We know the hours that Holden likes to be active now. So
I'll blow through because Mangone's probably going to have way tastier taste than me. So
all right, let me give you a line. Let me just give you a line and then take it. +5 for the Jets on the road, going up against Darnold. 44.5 is the total, Kegger.
Just the fact that Adam Gase isn't the head coach of the New York Jets puts them in a much better position to succeed, right? Now, does Robert Saleh have his work cut out for him? 100% he does. But even though they should have went 0-16 and Lawrence should be the quarterback, we have Wilson and that's where we are. I absolutely hate the running back room that the Jets have, but they actually have a decent unit of receivers. I mean, Cole, Davis, Crowder, Moore, that's not terrible. But the biggest factor for this team and coaching staff, they have 6 rookie starters on that team this year. That's going to translate into a ton of inconsistency all year long, especially when they're led by a rookie quarterback. A rookie quarterback that didn't even look like an NFL prospect until a year ago. So, I mean, the Jets are in bad shape. Now, the Panthers, the biggest news was, Matt Rule and Joe Brady think that Sam Darnold's an NFL starting quarterback. They grab him from the Jets. Here we are. Now, do I think that Darnold's a starting level quarterback? I watched every game. It's hard to say because of how bad the situation that he was put in. But if he can't take a step forward with Brady and with Rule, I don't think he's going to have many more excuses left in the tank. The defense was also a problem last year. I think they were 25th, 26th overall, which is the reason that they only have 6 defensive starters coming back. Now, do I think Hassan Reddick's going to help that front 7? He's going to get more pressure. But again, I think it's probably going to take them some time to turn into a cohesive unit. Right now, the line moved 2 points since the opener, but at 5.5, I'm still not interested in backing a rookie quarterback on the road in week 1. So, that's a pass for me, but I lean towards the Jets and the points rather than laying the 5.5. The total also moved 2 points. But even with the move to 45.5, I probably still lean over in this game because inconsistency usually leads to turnovers, right? So it wouldn't shock me to see it get up and over the total. But for me, my money will be nowhere near this game. I'm done.
Okay, Mangone, it's all you then. Terrace Marshall, I'm sure. Maybe Wilson. Maybe a little Corey Davis, who's now a captain of the Jets. Where are you going to DFS since you're drooling over this game?
I think Holden mentioned like every guy I'm probably not playing in this game.
That's why I brought him up.
Oh, man. So I like Sam Darnold, right? $5K for Sam Darnold is a pretty nice price tag. He's in one thing to talk about, and I think, Jay, you were mentioning, we don't know how good Sam Darnold is. Well, I don't know how good Sam Darnold is. He was in a shit situation, like you said. When you have a new offensive coordinator every year, no kidding, it's going to be a terrible spot. It's going to be difficult. Now, he's also a younger player. I don't think people realize when he came in the league, he was like younger than most quarterbacks. So he's also had some time, to get older, develop. He's also in a better situation now, which is good. And hey, it helps sometimes when you're with Christian McCaffrey and you can throw him a dump off and he runs it for like 50 yards for a touchdown. And hey, Sam Darnold, even though he might not be the best quarterback in the league, that still helps him. He's with a smart coach. He's against a Jets defense that I'm not scared of their secondary. I do think their pass rush could be a little bit better this year, but I'm not expecting it early on. And I know the Panthers offensive line isn't the greatest. I think that this coaching staff is smart enough to scheme easy, simple plays for Sam Darnold. You can do that against the Jets. I think it's a game that could really, really shoot out a bit and be very interesting. Because also, again, that Carolina Panthers team, if you look at them, that defense isn't very good. I'm not scared of them. And on the Jets side, why not take a shot on a talented rookie in Elijah Moore? Because I expect them to be trailing a lot. Now, I talked about not liking a ton of different rookies, but the thing I kind of like a little bit about Elijah Moore and the upside that he can have in this spot is I think he could have a higher involvement in this offense than people think. I think he's an interesting run back. Corey Davis is a great run back at 4,900. I don't know if Jamison Crowder will be ready. If he is ready, he's, again, another really good option at 4.6. So that's something we have to watch for.
Real quick, what if he's not? And it doesn't look good right now. If he is not ready, right? Davis gets the big bump. Anybody else you think gets a bump? I mean, Moore, there's going to be somebody's getting it.
I think it bumps Elijah Moore, right? And you got like quotes from Saleh saying like he's optimistic about Mims. Well, I mean, everyone wants to play week 1. No kidding. Mims might not be in as great a shape. It might be mixed in a little bit. Like, I just think ultimately, if I am going to take a shot on a like rookie receiver, don't take it on like Jalen Waddle against the Patriots of all teams, right? Take it against a really bad defense and a spot that it's a little bit more unknown where like Elijah Moore could easily be that number one receiver. And he's just going up against a secondary that I'm not scared of. So I think he's one of those sneaky 3K options that you can go to. You mentioned Marshall, which I think that's a good call as a guy that you can go to. He seems like a little bit more of like a trendier, sexy pick, but he might not be. He's not going to be super high owned, I don't think. And he's going to be in the slot a ton. And Robbie Anderson, 5.7, DJ Moore, 6.1. They can absolutely dominate. I do think Sam Darnold stacked paired with a Christian McCaffrey and either a DJ Moore or a Robbie Anderson is a really sharp play on this slate.
McCaffrey scored on 6 of his 76 touches last year. Think about that efficiency for a second. This guy is so amazing. All right. We're almost done with the show. We got the Thursday night football picks. Are we still having Keg build a lineup? Is that really happening too?
I mean, we could do it quick if you want. We got to do this Thursday night picks. Which do you want to do first? The lineup?
Oh, definitely the Thursday night pick. Definitely the Thursday night pick because Brady's back in action. We got a little Dak Prescott back in action. We get the Bucks and the Cowboys. Keg, you wanted to give a pick on this game. I know you got a little, and this is a free show. I know you got a little teaser action.
I didn't necessarily say I wanted to give a pick on the game. I said I wanted to talk about the game. But yeah,
No, you didn't.
Read the notes, bro.
You read the notes.
No, you read the notes.
You do.
Right,
Jay, listen, Jay, it's the first game of the season. You're giving us a pick, okay?
Right.
Don't you dare back down.
Thank you, Mangone.
All right, listen. So my first thought on the Dallas Cowboys are I'm giving out a season-long player prop future. Okay, it's on the spreadsheet. Simon, pull the tape for the end of the year. If Dak Prescott stays healthy, there's no way CeeDee Lamb doesn't go over 1,050 receiving yards. I'm calling it now. I threw it on the sheet a month ago. You're welcome for the free unit. When it cashes, just, give me a like button. All right.
And sign up, Jay. You tell them to go sign up because you just gave them a free bet that shit.
They'll go back to they're going to go back to the week 1 show and then hit the like button.
The week 1 show. I want you to hit the like button, go back 17 weeks. But all right, so I wanted to talk about this game because I wanted to know what you guys thought about one of the lines. Now, we know how good the Tampa Bay defense is, right? In general, I get it. We assume they're going to be really strong again. Now, Prescott played 4 games last year. Only quarterback to throw for 450 yards 3 times in the season. He did it 3 times in 4 weeks, right? Why? The Cowboys gave up something ridiculous, like 37 points a game the first 6 or 7 games last year. The defense still isn't good, right? So we would assume they're probably playing from behind tomorrow night for a decent part of the game. I think that Tampa Bay's laying 8 for a reason, and I think they could romp. But Dallas has a solid offense. So why is the team total only 21? That seems really low for the weapons and Dak. And I understand that the offensive line's a little banged up, but still, that doesn't seem right. I think even if they lose by margin, they're still getting over 21. Because even if they're playing from behind, I still see them getting over 21. I wanted to know your opinion, both of you guys. What do you think about that team total being that low? Is it just because of the defense?
Mangone, you'll make the salient point, so let me just say this right now. I am not as big a believer in the Tampa Bay defense as everybody else is. I think they got hot during the Super Bowl run. If you go back, were they really that amazing against the pass? I'm not so sure about that. Second of all, I love your Dallas prop. And third of all, I love the game over. I think this game is going to completely go bananas. The Cowboys offense with Dak Prescott last year was unstoppable. The Bucks offense with Tom Brady. I mean, are we expecting 30 carries from the Tampa Bay running game? I'm not. Antonio Brown is healthy. Mike Evans healthy. We'll see if Godwin plays in this one. There's just too many weapons on both sides, Mangone. I like over 51.5. And now I feel like I like that Dallas team total since Keg brought it up.
What do you think?
What do you say, Jay?
Well, I wanted to know, what did you think?
So I don't hate where your head's at. I disagree with Holden saying that this Bucs defense isn't that great. The thing with this Bucs defense is that run defense. I mean, V to V. I mean, you take Big T and you put him 4 times together, right? That's a large man with athleticism too. I mean, imagine Big T 4 times the size with athleticism rushing the quarterback. That's what V to V is, right? I mean, he's a huge human. He is going to absolutely eat up Zeke Elliott. He is going to struggle a ton. Good. I think that I agree with the pass game is going to thrive. Jay, why don't we just bet CeeDee Lamb's over for this game and get the people 2 units on CeeDee Lamb, Jay? I mean, come on. This seems like a really good spot.
I'll tell you what, Trav, if you look at what that kid did last year with just people like Danucci, Fanucci throwing him the football, I mean, it was brutal. And that kid still went for 950. I mean, there's just no way it doesn't go. I don't hate it. I don't hate it in week 1, too. I'll bet it with you.
I think it's a good bet. I do think I like more on the this is more of a longer shot. I know that people like loved betting them last year, and I did a pretty good job with the TD props. I thought once I saw the Chris Godwin on the injury report with the quad, I was like, listen, this Bucs team, you know what Brady is. Brady is saying, I got my eyes on winning the Super Bowl this year. I'm going back to back. I'm shoving it in Belichick's I think Antonio Brown at plus 200 anytime touchdown and he's 14-1. 14-1 for the first touchdown of the game. Man, I think that's a really, really good bet. I think AB gets in the box, and it could be the first one for sure. Everyone's talking about how good he looks, and we know he's the number 3 receiver on that team. And if you have Antonio Brown of 4 to 5 years ago as your number 3 receiver, that's a scary sight, and he's absolutely going to carve them up. So I think it's a good spot.
I just want to answer Alex in the chat. He says Cowboys are overhyped like they are every year. Washington wins that division. I agree with you. I'm on Washington to win that division. And I don't think the Cowboys are a good team because of how bad that defense is. But the one thing that is undisputable is that offense is very good, and they put up a shit ton of points. Like, you cannot dispute that at all.
Jay, it's a perfect recipe that you're talking about for these passing overs because the defense is one that you think will get ran all over. The key is they'll be losing all the time, right? They're going to be passing. It's all about opportunity. You know what's the worst in DFS, Jay? The absolute worst thing. When it's 3:45, Scott Hansen hops on and says, it's the witching hour, right? And you got all the games on Red Zone and you're watching, and your team is nowhere to be found. Your quarterback is handing the ball off to the running back, and you don't have them, and you can't even watch your players, and your DFS team then dies, right? That is the absolute worst thing. The Cowboys, that won't happen. Dak will be passing. You'll be seeing him throwing the ball, trying to get back in the game, down 10, always just out there chucking the ball. And that's what you want with these overs. That's what you want. You want to attack those offenses. That is super key, and I think you're on to a sharp call there.
And what do you like here from CD? Let's talk about this for a second. 61.5 total yards, minus 110. His receptions over 5.5, plus 125. Which route?
I mean, he could break a 50-yard play because of how fast he is. I think if you're going to bet it, you just take the yards over. He can get that in two catches.
The yards over is the way you would go, Mangone?
And you, Trav?
For CeeDee Lamb, yeah, that's the one I said. So I think that is the better one that I would be looking to bet. I'm high on CeeDee Lamb this year. I think he is going to be absolutely terrific. So yeah, I can't wait to obviously see what happens. We saw Michael Gallup have some success last year, and I think that was part of some of the guys that were mixed in there and kind of looking at him more rather than it being Dak. I mean, we know Dak was looking at some of those other guys. So I agree with you. And like I said, my bet that I was giving out was that Antonio Brown one. I already put it on the sheet. We won't be giving out all the sheet plays all the time, but that's one I definitely wanted to give to the people because I think it's a pretty good one. And who knows, maybe Chris Godwin even sits, right? It wouldn't shock me if he didn't play week 1. It is a quad injury. That's something that is not an absolute joke.
Hey, Mangone, that's why his yards prop went up 10. It went up 10 yards, 11 yards. It was at 47.5. I'm seeing a 58.5. The Godwin news really shook that. I actually, if you're going to bet the yards, I would wait up until game time, or at least when we get definitive news on Godwin. Because if the Godwin news and he's playing, I think that line will come down. Maybe not significantly, but every yard counts in these passing props, in these receiving props. So that's where I am with Brown. How would you handle that, Keg? I'm going to bet the CeeDee Lamb thing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. If it's not already baked into the line, that AB's they put that just as a fail safe in case God doesn't play. You might not see a ton of movement, but I don't think it'll really hurt if you wait.
Okay, very good.
So for the purposes of the show, we'll take our shot with the team total over 21.
And we're going to do the team total over 21. Is that going on the sheet?
No, I have a play for the game on the sheet.
Okay. It's not going on the sheet, but it's a show play. I like it. Mangone, you wanted to build a DFS lineup with Keg in a super short amount of time. Let's go.
Keg, okay. So the whole point of this segment is Keg always says to me each week, I'm going to get in the DFS. I mean, if you've been watching the show, he says it. He still hasn't gotten a DFS. It's been over a year. So we're going to force him into DFS now. He doesn't have money on his FanDuel account. I'm currently going to help build this team. We're doing FanDuel because, you can build out a bunch of the team and maybe we won't fill it all out. But Keg, I want to go to you. You just listen to the DFS stuff. You basically just tuned into the show or you tuned me out. Maybe you did that. But based on some of your sports betting knowledge and DFS stuff that you've heard, who are some of the guys you want me to plug in and start? Where should we kick this off?
I mean, I'm going to be the guy that builds the lineup.
Jay, again, we're doing it as the viewer is sitting here building the lineup.
This is a horrible idea.
No, it's not.
This is just a horrible debacle. Keg does not want to do this. He's so uncomfortable. So let's build a lineup anyways, because I want to make him more uncomfortable.
There we go. Okay. Who are some of the guys you heard that you think we should plug in here? Let's start it off.
Dak Prescott. You like Prescott?
I do.
We can't do Prescott. It's a Thursday game. We got to do the main.
But judging from what you said, you think that Darnold has a shot to have a decent game, right?
I do.
So let's shoot our shot with Sam Darnold.
Okay. All right. So we're going to kick it off with that. We're going to plug in Christian McCaffrey. Let's not be dumb. And then let's plug in a receiver too. So we can do Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. Which one do we want to do?
Terrace Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall. He's I don't know if we want to do him on. He is 4.9.
Hey, real quick. I do have some news here on the Antonio Brown thing. Chris Godwin not listed on the final injury report. He is good to go against Dallas. So we were just talking about that. We just got that news 12 seconds ago. So like I said, I'm interested in seeing where that Antonio Brown number goes. But back to the Carolina Panthers. Who you stacking Darnold and McCaffrey with, my friend?
Well, what do you think, man? I mean, we know that
Robbie Anderson, revenge game.
Let's
big play game.
For Narrative Street, right? The double revenge.
Right up there behind Mangone's head.
See the sign above me, Narrative Street. Let's go to Robbie Anderson. And I met Robbie before. I got a nice picture with him. So let's go with my boy Robbie Anderson.
Who fucking cares?
I mean, hey, I got
Who you met Robbie Anderson?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Hey, listen.
All right, who we run it back with, Mangone? Who do you want to run it back with?
Yeah, settle down over there, Holden. All right, who are we running it back with? That is the key. What jet do we want to go, right? I mean, it's a bit rough. I liked Elijah Moore. I liked him more on DK.
Corey Davis.
I think Corey Davis is 5'8". Elijah Moore is 5K. You probably go Corey Davis on FanDuel, mainly because of that. I think on DK, it's a little bit different because the price gap isn't 800, it's 1900, right? And this is how building lineups between sites is important and salary is important. So we plug that in. Right. Who's another running back we want to go to? Who's a bell cow that you want to jam in there? Do you want to go Joe Mixon? He's probably better for PPR sites. We can go to a Dalvin Cook if you want. Alvin Kamara. We even jam in Devontae Adams. We talked about that little narrative, right, Joe?
Your boy Nick Chubb.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, who has more value, Nick Chubb or Devontae Adams? Because they're both going to have
Devontae Adams.
Well, I have an idea. Let's see if this works. I don't know if the salary. I mean, we can go either, right? I don't think we can go both is the key because we can't get in Nick. If we go Nick Chubb, we want to go Travis Kelce probably, right? Or a Tyreek Hill. I say we go Devontae Adams. Let's just plug him in there because I think you can play him anywhere and anytime. So let's go with Adams for now. And then we need a running back and probably a little bit of a cheaper running back. So one of the mid-tier guys. We didn't talk about this guy. I like Mike Davis a little bit. I think he has the opportunity to be a bit of a bell cow for that team. So I'm going to plug him in right now just because I think he's got a good price tag over here on FanDuel. And then we've almost completed the lineup. We need a tight end now. And we need to save some salary. We really can't go a Kittle or a Kelce. Who could we go at tight end that we
Logan Thomas.
Jay, what do you think? Logan Thomas, you talked about that Charger game. Do you like that?
I mean, do we have to save salary? Because if we don't, I want Waller.
Waller's not on this slate, so can't go him.
All right.
Hey, chat, let me ask you something. Should we continue to do this segment during the season? Because we got 16 more shows or 17 more shows, or do we just scrap it? Can the chat vote on this right now? I'm having fun. I just don't know.
Yeah, give us your feedback. I think it's fun. And I want Jay to start playing DFS. I think it's a good way to push him.
What about Johnny Smith?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think he can. Where's his price? I'm looking.
He was
so he's 4,900. He's
running
dirt
back
cheap
in practice.
Johnu is dirt cheap on FanDuel, so that helps us a ton. So that works. Now we need a defense. Jay, who's a defense that you liked? Is
Washington.
there any? What?
Washington.
Okay.
All right, Washington. All right, we'll plug them in there. 4,200. Again, defense can be really random at times. And then we got 7,200 on FanDuel. And hey, that leads to the guy I talked about that I thought was a good play. We could do the correlation of Antonio Gibson, who people talk about, and correlate that with the defense. But I say we go with Mr. Mixon, then we just move on and call it a day. I think that's good.
That Mangone just made the Millie Maker. You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm going to give this to Jay once he deposits because he still needs to deposit. We're going to force him into DFS, guys. So help us with that. We want to get Keg to learn. We want to be better.
I will show a ticket, tweet it out that I played this lineup 100%. I will do that.
No, you got to find 2 other players, but
no, it's done. It's done. I made the team. It's all set. We're good.
All right, and send that my way too. Okay, I kind of want to do that myself.
Yeah, like Kushner doesn't want to get it. Like, if it is the Millie Maker,
I'm all for doing free shit. All right, we have 2 premium shows airing early this week, right? We've got the Thursday Showdown shows, which will be live, and the Print Factory as well. And the Print Factory, man, tell them about the Print Factory. Oh, the Print Factory.
Yeah, Print Factory's good. You got Big T, you got JSU, and you got Big T's boy. I think it's I don't want to butcher the name.
Doesn't matter. He's a really smart guy. He won the contest.
BDB, I think is the name. Yeah. Simon just said it in my ear. But OBD, that's it. OBD. So OBD has won the super contest before. I don't know if he won last year's, but he's a really good sports bettor. Knows his stuff. ODB is going to be on there giving his betting winners for the super contest and talking about different games and sides. And then Big T will always be giving the Wong teasers that he loves. JSU will be giving his DFS breakdown. You'll be getting Big T's DFS breakdown. And this is a premium show. You're not getting this thing for free, I'm pretty sure. So sign up now. RPS NFL 15, get you 15% off. And you can check out that show. It's an absolutely awesome one. And you do not want to miss it before building your lineups.
Tomorrow, you'll see my ugly face. Thursday night live betting show. Keg Live. We're here.
Big Daddy's going to be there with you. I'm calling myself Big Daddy this year.
Oh, fair enough.
I'll say I'm going to be there. I can't wait.
And the Holden Big Daddy bit is definitely something that people do not need. But continue Big Daddy Holden.
Yeah, I'm just going to call myself that. I'm Big Daddy, and I'll be there. And my eyes will probably be glowing. So I'm looking forward to that, Keg. You and I talked about it during the, a little bit ago. What other job is going to allow me the freedom to have that I have here? None of them. And who hasn't asked me to build a bookcase? Big T. Didn't ask me to do it. So 2 premium shows airing this week, Print Factory, Thursday Showdown shows. It's going to be amazing. Sign up, RPS NFL 15. Mangone, final thoughts on what we talked about today, or if you don't have any, that's fine too.
Yeah, I mean, just come back here every week. Don't miss this show. I think it's going to be an absolutely awesome one. And it's week 1, as Jay kind of says sometimes, relax with the bankroll. You don't have to blow it all in 1 week. I know there's a lot of great contests. Just so you know, DraftKings, they're posting contests next week. You can check those out too. They're not going to go down too much more, of course. Maybe you won't have all the Millie Makers, but, be careful with your bankroll. It's a long season, and it's going to be a fun one, and I can't wait. All right, Kegger, anything else you want to say?
I think you summed it up, my friend.
All right, just sign up already, people. If you haven't signed up yet, you're just gonna lose. It's as simple as that. Good mojo here on RPS. You're gonna win. Simon, great job behind the scenes. My next show will be for Up to Lock for baseball. 6 o'clock Eastern today. Draft Cheat and Stevie Boyton. Check out Keg tomorrow night, live show Thursday night. And Mangone just seems like he's on all the time. So he'll be popping by left and right too. All right, Simon, you know what time it is. Get us out of here.